I'm Megan Hargett, and I am doing a informative presentation for business communication. All right, my oral presentation is over Boston Terriers and why you should have one. They make great companions and great member to your family. Well, in the beginning, when our family, it's me, my husband, and we have a 5-year-old. At the time, our child was 3 years old, and we were looking to get a pet, a dog. And we went to a couple of the shelters. We went to one out here in Dallas and one here in Waxahachie, Texas. We looked all over the shelters and weren't really looking for a specific breed, just an animal that would get along well with children and moderate size, be able to be in our home, and just kind of work out for the family. And most of the dogs that we looked at the time, because you could go out back at the SPCA centers or any of the shelters that you go to and kind of try to bond with the animal and just see how it worked out. And we went out there with quite a few dogs, probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 at each place, and just didn't find one that I didn't think was going to be safe enough for a 3-year-old. A lot of them were kind of rowdy, bigger, and I just didn't really know their temperament. Maybe if Dylan was a little bit older, I would have been more comfortable with any of the dogs, but we just didn't find one that would fit our family and that we felt safe enough to be around Dylan. So we opted to get a puppy, and my husband is from Boston, and he moved here from Massachusetts probably 12 years ago, and he has always wanted a Boston Terrier. So we found a breeder here in Red Oak, and he had several puppies. We looked at him, and as soon as he was ready to be weaned off, we went ahead and adopted one. Being that Dylan was 3 at the time, we let him name the dog, and he stuck with Boston the Terrier for our Boston Terrier. Not very original, not very clever, but it is kind of cute. It's grown on us. We call him Boston, and he's definitely just a lovable member of the family. And Boston Terriers, they were first developed in Boston in the late 1800s. They were made in the beginning for fighting dogs, and they were crossed between bulldogs and English Terriers. They're one of the, I don't know, supposed to be true American gentlemen. They're very sweet, they're kind. He's supposed to be the national dog of the United States, was what I read somewhere at one time. They have been called by many of the other names, and some people still call them Boston Bulls. They were also called American Bull Terriers, but most people, I guess I've only ever heard them called Boston Terriers. They're very affectionate, and they're great for house pets. He didn't take very long to train either. He was house trained within the first maybe 3 or 4 months that we had him. They're very intelligent dogs. Let's see. Lost my train of thought here for a second. His personality. Their personalities of a Boston Terrier tend to be very good-natured. They're very playful. They're great for, they say, elderly and for children. They're very cheerful companions. He's very enthusiastic. They generally get along well with other pets as well, even cats. We also have a cat that we purchased. We adopted the kitty about a year after we had Boston, and they get along great. She's not so keen on him. She's not good friends with him, but he's always trying to play with her. Especially if they're raised together, it says, and he was young whenever we got the kitty. They have a very sturdy build. They tend to live about, 10 to 20 years. Or 10 to 12 years, rather. And that'll be a good long time for them. They're very tolerant with children, which helped out because Dylan, being 3, was able to just pick him up and, pull on his ears and be kind of crazy with him, and he was okay with it. And he really enjoys romping around with him. They love to play together. They jump on the trampoline quite often with each other. They enjoy He enjoys burying bones under pillows and anywhere we put them, really. Um, Living with him, they certainly require exercise. He's very enthusiastic. He just has so much energy all the time. So we tend to try to walk him at least 20 minutes or so a day. At least. We go around the block with him, or just Dylan runs around with him and throws his toys for him. Um, let's see. He doesn't really do much vigorous work, just moderate walking. They're considered intelligent, easy to train. As I said, they are kind of stubborn. You can say certain words to them like sit and stay, but they don't always do exactly what they want to do when you want to do them. Sometimes he's just going to kind of do his own thing. And of course, it's not mandatory. It's just kind of fun to be able to play with him and have him do little things that he does. They're great inside. They don't bark a whole lot. Every now and then, if he knows somebody's in the yard or in the area, in his territory, he'll bark. But for the most part, they're very quiet. Unexpectedly knocking on the door, he'll get up and say something. But they're not generally great protectors. Most Boston Terriers are very congenial, and they will welcome anyone into their house. They're friends with all. And because of their short face and how they're taken in, Bostons tend to overheat. And you can't let them outside, especially in the Texas heat. You can't let them outside for too long or leave them out there, or they will overheat. And he'll have heat strokes. They are very chill and easy. You also have to protect them from the extreme cold. And I do understand in Boston it's always pretty cold there, so I'm sure those who live there probably have to do a lot of keeping them indoors as well. They're definitely house dogs, not outdoor dogs. They snore. He snores so much. Because of their short faces, he tends to, every time he sleeps, he snores, and he usually snores pretty loud. But of course, he doesn't sleep in his bed that we purchased him. He sleeps in our bed with us and goes under the covers and sleeps right there beside you. It is very cute, and he's very snuggly. And they're very gassy. They're picky eaters. They can be picky eaters. But once you find, because they have a very delicate digestive system, they tend to have tummy troubles. So when you do find the best food, the good commercial food that you can find for them, then you kind of want to stick with that if it agrees with them, and feed them about a cup of food a day. And he is gassy all the time. We've tried many of different foods, and he's gassy. It's the breed of dog. So you have to bear with that smell, but the love for him overcomes that for certain. They have very small litters. Boston Terriers tend to only have 3 to 4 puppies, and delivering can be quite difficult for Boston Terriers because of they're kind of small dogs. I wouldn't quite say a medium dog, but he's not a small dog either. He's kind of somewhere in between then. Maybe about 12 pounds. He's about 12 pounds. He gets a bath. Probably every other week we give him a bath. And we brush his hair and groom him when we try to clip his claws, but it is completely impossible to do that. He will not. He moves around. He acts like you're trying to kill him, actually. Yeah, he doesn't shed much. They're very short-haired animals, so he doesn't lose a lot of hair, so we don't have to worry about that with him. More so the cat, of course, but he doesn't shed much. They're very content dogs. So let's meet Boston. Come here. Come on, buddy. This is Boston the Terrier. He's a very sweet, handsome, gentle little fella. Kisses. Kiss. So we're going to try to do a couple of little tricks for you. Oh, I've got treats. Come on, come up here. Come up here. Come on. Come on. Jump up. Jump up. Good. Sit. Sit. Shake. Good boy. Kiss. Kiss. Kiss mama. No kiss today. Not sit. Stay up here. He actually wears clothes for us, but well, of course we had to start that whenever he was younger, whenever he was a puppy, and he's grown into it. He loves to have a shirt on. It doesn't bother him at all. He actually kind of stands there and lets him stick his head out so you can put it over his head and each one of his paws. Sit down. Sit. Sit. Stand. Can you stand up in the chair? That's kind of hard for you. Good boy. So it's kind of more fun for us, actually. To be able to put a little shirt on him, especially for different holidays. He has a cute Christmas sweater, and he looks ridiculously adorable in it. All right. Sit. Sit. Can you shake again? Sit. Shake. Good boy. All right. So, if I haven't convinced you to get a Boston Terrier, they're very lovable. They're very sweet. They're very smart. Not so much of a protective dog. So, if you're looking for something to kind of guard your home or attack an intruder that walks in, this is not the type of dog for you. They're very sweet. They're very lovable. They're great with the elderly. They're very good with children. Every time he takes a treat out of my hand, he's so ginger with it. He's never bitten me before. He's a good boy. All right. Thanks for listening.